Welcome back to Damon Bruce Plus, brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. It is your favorite one-man show today, talking about a two-man game. Now, the 49ers got a couple pieces in place that are historically supposed to make everything around here a little easier. Maybe that starts happening. It better. It is good to have you. Thank you very much for stopping on by. Again, like and subscribe, my friends. Rob C. already taking me to task, saying DB needs one of those fancy machines that has time on it. Couple minutes late today. I understand. Hello to the postman. He is here. Good to see you. Danny Golding TV. What up, Plus? What up, Plus crew? Stacy in the house. It is good to have you. All right. Everybody's reported for duty. That's officially a good thing. It's great to have you here today. And look, honestly, if somebody else asked me if I want to see their mock draft, I might punch them. I can't do another day of mock draft talk. I need a day off in between my draft anxiety conversations, mocking. Can we start this thing? We're 9 days away. And what's funny is no matter how much the 49ers knock this draft out of the freaking park, no matter how much they, in the moment they have the draft, you think that they have blown it, they have gone about it the wrong way, they're going to be the team that is favored to win the NFC West next year. Why is that? Why would a six-win team that looks like it's getting old, that looks like it's getting slow, still has injuries and vanishing acts associated with its wide receivers, why would this team still be favored to do anything? Well, that's because a lot of people, myself included, believe that they have the right coach and the right quarterback. A two-man game. Look, football has always been about controlling a million different moving parts, lots of moving pieces, lots of variables, all of which is made much, much easier when you have the right two guys at the two most important positions in all of sports, right? Like, there's no dynasty without that marriage between coach and quarterback. You have to have it. Like, you can get a one-off winner. You can be the Nick Foles, Doug Peterson, we got one Philadelphia Eagles team. But then they go away for a while, and they had to get Sirianni and Hurts and Barkley in there to win last year's Super Bowl. Whole different team, right? The John Harbaugh, and John Harbaugh is a great coach. Joe Flacco, is he elite? The reason why we had is Joe Flacco elite conversation for 3 years is because he won the damn Super Bowl playing unbelievable playoff football on the way to beating the 49ers in New Orleans for that Ravens team. But then that Ravens team went away pretty quickly. They weren't ready to be a dynasty because they might have had the coach, but they didn't have the quarterback. Philadelphia was able to do it without really having either. When the Denver Broncos won, even though that was the end of Peyton Manning, like they had the quarterback who knows how to win a Super Bowl, if not the coach at the time. That's why that didn't last very long. It's hard to have both at the same time. And if you do, you got something special. You got Andy Reid, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, you got this guy named Joe Montana, and another guy named Bill Walsh. They were pretty good together. When you get the coach and the quarterback together, everything on that football team gets a little bit easier. And this is the conversation that everybody continues to have. Is Brock Purdy elite? Look at it this way. I don't even know what that means anymore. I don't really know what anyone wants. How does elite equal out in your mind? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if the 49ers were to walk away from Brock Purdy today looking for a new quarterback, they'd be looking for a new quarterback that could have as much early in career success as Brock Purdy has had. A fantastic start to your career, not elite enough for some people. I get that. Brock Purdy is hardly the statue of David, a physical masterpiece that no one could ever critique. He's not that. But what he is the computer, the operating system that I really believe you need to play quarterback. And this is around why I don't understand why they don't have the deal done. Is Brock Purdy elite? I don't know, but he produces some pretty elite numbers that are better than quarterbacks that we all agree are the elite quarterbacks. If you're outperforming the elite quarterbacks, not only is it hard to deny you entry into that conversation, but it kind of like dumps on what you think is elite, right? Because you say, all right, this is a quarterback that I really like. He produces these numbers. Brock is a quarterback I decided I didn't like, and his numbers are better. Like at some point, the logic has to add up, right? At some point, you have to think to yourself, this is going to work out. Or you're like Joseph. And Joseph, I'm glad you're in here. And I'm not mad at you, Joseph. You are so pot committed as a lifelong 49er fan to this being the wrong head coach and this being the wrong quarterback. I mean, I honestly believe they could have won that Super Bowl in Kansas City. And your biggest argument the day after would have been, bet you they can't repeat. And if they don't repeat, they're not elite and they're not good enough for me. Like, there's just no pleasing you with this guy. Just no pleasing you at all. Like, Brock Purdy could offer to babysit your kids for free. I feel like you'd turn it down because you just have something against him. And I really don't know why, because he hasn't done anything other than come in here and save everybody's job and everybody's reputation all at once. That's what he's done. Brock Purdy is the reason why all of this is still employed, why all of this is still on a track of maybe going somewhere. Look, he's got the best NFL passer rating since 2002. That's not an opinion. That's a measurable fact. He's got the best passer rating in the league as a quarterback at 106.2 since 2002. He leads the NFL at 9 yards per pass attempt. And he leads the NFL at 13.3 yards per completion. Really hurts that he can't throw the ball downfield crowds argument. He completes passes of 10 yards or more at 58%, which led the NFL last year. A year where the 49ers passing game was in the toilet. He still led the NFL in completion percentage of passes 10 yards or more. You know, some people say, well, that's not good enough for me. Really? Because that's where the entire Kyle Shanahan offense operates. The entire Kyle Shanahan offense operates in about a 15-yard box that is 12 yards beyond the line of scrimmage and 3 yards behind it. That's where everything happens. It's where the entire dance floor is for Kyle Shanahan's offense. He didn't have a very good wide receiver last year, and he still was that productive. Already in his young career, he's been to a Super Bowl. He's been an MVP finalist. He has set a franchise record for passing yards. He has thrown 30 or more touchdowns already in a year. Like, it just seems so funny that with all the bad quarterback play that this franchise has had, that you'd finally get to the guy who is officially the next guy who is officially good at this. Great, maybe not as great as you want him to be as instantly as you want it. But the fact that Brock Purdy's harshest critics, like our friend Joseph Ernberg, can't even admit, yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's not exactly what I wanted, but he's pretty good. Like, you can't even admit that he's pretty good. It's the 49ers quarterback either has to be the single greatest quarterback walking the earth or he sucks. Like, there is something in between those two extremes. And that's where Brock Purdy is. Now, we're also at a place in time where anyone who leads to the top half of the quarterbacking conversation is like a $50 million a year man. This $50 million price point that a lot of people say, that's a no-go for Brock Purdy. Like, you cannot play I was watching Colin Cowherd a little bit this morning. I heard him in the background when I was making coffee. He said, you can't pay a B-plus quarterback A-plus money. Who's grading Brock out at a B plus? And is that even fair? Considering, and you have to admit this if you want to be in this conversation like an adult, considering there's so much more to going into who's a good quarterback and who's not a good quarterback than just physical traits and talent. Up here, Brock Purdy's one of the best already in football. So why would you walk away from a guy who's got it up here, especially when he plays for a coach where if you don't have it up here, you can't even play. You can't get on the field. Kyle Shanahan is good at what he does. Doesn't matter what the 49ers results have been. Doesn't matter that they haven't or he has yet to win a Super Bowl as a head coach. He's really good at what he does. To say otherwise means you are not paying attention to the way the league functions, the way the league speaks about respect towards coaches. There is nobody in football who says Kyle Shanahan's bad at this. The only people who agree Kyle Shanahan is bad at this have never been to a football game without buying a ticket. You have no connection to actual professional football in any way, shape, or form. You don't. All you are is a person on your couch complaining. He's really good at this. And he's about to make $50 million. And I can't believe that the 49ers haven't already given it to him. They should be so incentivized to just get this number locked in, move on, and be done with it, that I can't believe it has not already happened. I really don't. I mean, this guy has saved everybody's bacon. I don't know why any of this is hanging in limbo. I don't understand. I really don't understand. The 49ers should want to get this done for him, for them, for the certainty. To have numbers locked in that will let you know what you can spend after the draft on remaining street free agents who you might want to have come in, just to know, to have some certain, the biggest number in the room should be the first number in the room locked in. I believe that. So we'll see what the 49ers end up doing here. But I'm so surprised that this hangs in limbo. But it adds so much fuel to the fire of Brock Purdy criticism to leave this hanging in limbo. I'm not saying that criticism is going to bury Brock Purdy and he won't know how to deal with it or anything like that. He knows how to deal with it. Again, he is a quarterback that has mastered the podium, the podium speak, the coach speak, the media. He's got Boy Scout. He is not about to embarrass the franchise in any way, shape, or form. He's a hard worker. Everybody respects the hell out of him. I mean, I heard Colin Cowherd say that Sam Darnold absolutely belongs in the $50 million a year situation, but Brock does not. That is absurd. That is absurd. For anyone to look me in the eye and say Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy, you're out of your mind. He was in a really better situation last year. Sam Darnold was in a better situation on a team that wasn't banged up, with a head coach that wasn't out of ideas, with two of the best pass catchers in all of football and an offensive line that gave him the time he needed. Sam Darnold was in so much of a better situation than Brock Purdy was. But then when the postseason came around, Sam Darnold wet the bed. Brock Purdy's postseason failures have come with zero bedwetting. No matter what they do in the draft, no matter whether you like it or don't like it, they're going to be favored to win the NFC West next year. That's because of Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. Since Kyle's not going anywhere, I want the deal done to make sure that Brock isn't going anywhere. And these two guys either go on to glory together or they both wash out together. There is no separating either from the other now. It is the two of them are married. And if the marriage doesn't work out, all right. But I think these two can make beautiful music together. They certainly, to an extent, already have. To walk away from it now in the name of, I think we can do better, when really what you would be looking for, what you would be hoping for more than anything else, is to bring in a quarterback who is instantly as good as Brock Purdy has been. It's hard. Again, you want to get rid of a guy that would be the yardstick to determine if the next guy was showing early signs of being good at this or not. It normally takes several years of learning how to do it to turn into a quarterback who is statistically productive as Brock Purdy has been. He stepped into the league like this. We've seen other quarterbacks with Kyle Shanahan not have this level of success. So don't tell me that it doesn't matter who walks out of the locker room. As long as it's a quarterback, Kyle can make that work. That is not true. He has not had much success as a head coach without either Matt Ryan or Brock Purdy. That's true. Jimmy Garoppolo for a heartbeat. We'll give him that. We'll give Jimmy a heartbeat. Jimmy's stolen a lot of heartbeats throughout his life, hasn't he? Anyway, look, we are 9 days from the NFL draft. Again, I'm about to punch the next person who asked me if I want to see their draft. I just can't do any more mock drafting. Matt, want to see my mock draft? I guess I earned that one, Matt. Thank you. A couple of supers coming in. This is Joe Sullivan. Joe likes to make that ganja jar nice and full. Thank you, Joe. I don't get the Brock Purdy hate. It's so frustrating as a lifelong diehard fan. Happy Tuesday, DB. Again, if you still had questions or concerns about Brock Purdy, if you weren't fully bought in, I would get it. But to treat him as if he's the fuck up, that's the problem. Like so many people do, it just shows you that brainwashing is real and anger is transferable. And a lot of people have been brainwashed into feeling angry feelings for Brock Purdy. And our good friend Joseph says, I was a huge Brock fan before this season. We need to stop talking about the 23 season like 24 didn't happen. Rain, literally, for sure, L, he decent. The wet ball thing is, go ahead and play better in the rain. I'll give you that, Joseph. If you want to curb your entire criticism of Brock Purdy into he doesn't play well in the rain, I don't have a lot of examples to say you're wrong at that. The good news is it doesn't rain much in Northern California, and half the time he's playing on the road, he's in a dome, and it ain't raining anyway. So there's your good news. I can't dictate the weather for you. No team can control the weather, but you can control who your quarterback is. And walking away from this guy right now, I think would be dumb considering there is no backup plan. And if you think Mac Jones is a backup plan, boy, do you have another thing coming. Seriously. You have another thing coming. He's also weak and fragile. He's neither of those things. He is not weak, nor is he fragile. Not at all. Not at all. Don't let one elbow injury that was predicated on a blown offensive, well, it wasn't even an offensive lineman. It was a backup tight end trying to block Hassan Reddick. But in a full throwing motion, he tore his elbow. That happens. That's not a sign of weakness. That's human biology. He's recovered from it pretty darn well. Joseph, multiple elbow injuries, the same elbow. Then you know what? Trade him. Trade him and start over again. That's the whole point, right? Like if they don't believe in him, trade him for a haul at the peak of his value and move on and reset the entire thing. But they won't do that because they're not idiots. You don't climb halfway up the exterior of a building and then just say, all right, anyone else want to finish it? Like, they're so far down the road with this guy, and it's worked so well under conditions are good. Look at it this way. What happened to the 49ers last year would have prevented any quarterback being successful. Josh Allen doesn't have last year's 49er team in the playoffs. I don't think Patrick Mahomes does. That's how bad that team was against stopping the run, against doing the things that when they do them defensively, Brock has always given you enough offense to win the game. There was a point in Brock's career where he's 19-0 when the Niners score more than 28 points. I mean, that's good. To walk away from this guy now would be as foolish of a decision over something that is just as dumb as money. The next quarterback, should he work out, is going to make so much more money than the amount of money that Brock is about to agree to that you can't be complaining about this if you're not already. All of them. Bad quarterbacks are about to make 40. It's the way it's going, kids. It's the way it's going. 9 days from the NFL draft. I need to get to games again. This is crazy. This is crazy. And if the Niners do anything other than go O-line or D-line in their first 2 picks, the player that they get better be going to the Hall of Fame. That's all I'm going to tell you. Because this, to me, this entire league is about trench warfare right now, and I just kind of wanted to share a little something with you here. Warren Sharp, who is one of the smarter guys out there analyzing football, highly recommend you follow him on Twitter. Warren Sharp, I'd love to get him on the channel and talk to him. He's a really smart football guy, and he's got a lot of data. This isn't anyone could have gotten this data, but here are the most expensive offensive lines for this upcoming year. And you tell me if there isn't a correlation, some sort of causation between offensive line investment and where a team might go. Certainly, bad teams, a few examples here, have decided that the way to stop being bad quickly is to reinvest in that offensive line. There is no team in football spending more across its offensive line this upcoming season. I could give you a million guesses at this. You probably wouldn't just pull it out, but it's the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers, who have been thoroughly lost in the woods forever now, have a $95.3 million investment in their offensive line. They spent huge in free agency on guards. They're going to be a better football team because of that alone. I'm not saying that the Panthers are about to be a playoff team. They got incomplete things, but that's a great place to start. So the Panthers, biggest offensive line investment. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs, the model of how football teams want to play right now. At number 3, it's the New York Giants. Again, a team that is desperately trying to get back right, so they spend big across their offensive line. It's the New York Giants. No guarantees it's going to work out. The Chicago Bears made that investment of drafting a quarterback number 1 overall. They then made the investment of hiring an upcoming offensive mind who became an upcoming offensive mind because he enjoyed a huge offensive line in Detroit, which allowed him to unleash his playbook like holy hell all over the NFL. He wants to unleash his playbook like holy hell over the NFL. And so the Chicago Bears now have the 4th most expensive offensive line in all of football, a huge investment, and watch the Bears get better because of that. The Minnesota Vikings are at number 5. The Detroit Lions, the team that is, one of the best offensive lines in football, number 6. Then it's the Denver Broncos. By the way, those are 3 playoff teams in a row. Here comes another, the Washington Commanders at number 8. They're a playoff team. At number 9, it's the Los Angeles Chargers, and they were a playoff team, weren't they? Then it's the Titans. They got a lot to figure out. Then it's the Falcons. Again, didn't make the playoffs, but it wasn't because of their offensive line. Then it's the Eagles, who won the Super Bowl behind an offensive line. Then you got Bills, Browns, Rams, Cowboys, Colts, Patriots, Cardinals, Packers, and spending the 22nd amount on the offensive line is the 49ers. The 49ers have been trying to moneyball their offensive line, and that is a huge part of the reason why things aren't working and clicking around here like they used to. It's the truth. I want the 1st or 2nd pick of this draft to be an offensive lineman for the 49ers. I want them to invest in this offensive line. If you're about to pay Purdy, and we all agree that the quarterback is the most important position on the field, then protecting that guy, a protection of your investment, it's like protecting the playbook. You want to be able to do everything that Kyle was hired to do, get him an offensive line. Again, average coaches with great offensive line look like great head coaches. What about a head coach who is so good at what he does? Every coach in the league is taking notes from that guy. What if Kyle Shanahan had one of the best offensive lines in football? What could the 49ers do? I think they could win it all. Offensive line. Offensive line and defensive line are the priorities in this upcoming draft. I want him to double dip in both categories. And if they don't, I think they're just fucking around. Great football always comes from the inside out, not the other way. Not the other way. This is why I wanted Chris Dolman to be the huge offseason free agent investment. He's in Chicago. It's going to help the Bears. Absolutely going to help the Bears. I want you to help yourself to something absolutely delicious for lunch today. My man Ike has got a sandwich for you. I'm telling you, no matter what your tastes are, no matter how fat boy you want to go, or like, hey man, hollow out that bread. Let's get something vegan on it. They'll do that for you. They will health up your sandwich as much as you want it, or they will fat boy up your sandwich as much as you need it over at Ike's. Make sure you sign up for the Love Rewards program. When you do that, you start earning your way to drinks and chips and free sandwiches. Oh my God, it's the best. Get yourself to Ike's. If there isn't one around you, I hope there is one soon. If you are in the Bay Area, if you're up and down California, man, think about bringing in a little Ike's catering for your office this week for lunch. You will be hailed a hero if you do. Only heroes hanging out at the Dubliner Bar on West Portal here in San Francisco, sponsoring the show. I love Kenny and John. Those guys are fantastic. Their bar is fantastic. They had a great weekend with the Masters crowd rolling in there tonight. And I guarantee you they're going to have an awful lot of people in there tonight watching the Warriors play for their play-in supper. Big Warriors game tonight. We're going to get into that in just a second here, but get yourself to the Dubliner and West Portal. You will be very, very happy that you did. Christopher. Very good, Christopher. Christopher says, I'm not eating at Ike's. I've heard sometimes his elbow hurts after making sandwiches. He's fragile and weak. I'm out. Well done. Touche, sir. Touche. Damon, Mac Jones is a backup at best. Hey, maybe Kyle can resurrect that career. Maybe Kyle can turn him into the quarterback that he hopes to be one day. When you're talking about what Brock Purdy does, again, Brock Purdy led the NFL last year, completing passes 10 yards or more downfield at 58%. Second worst in football last year was Mac Jones at 35%. Kyle Shanahan can take a guy who was second worst in completion percentage last year and make him more than that. Do you realize how good of a coach Kyle Shanahan then is? But still, people are going to say, that guy, he's the wrong coach. Can't get it done. Again, Brock isn't good at this. Kyle's not good at it. But the both of them had so much success together. Somebody must be good at it. But all you want to do is rob everybody of any sunshine. And I just don't understand it. Like, it's one thing to know that there is a player on your team that you got to kind of like grin and bear it when it comes to rooting for that dude. Like, Draymond has been a little bit of a grin and bear it rooting for that dude at times, has he not? Other times he's been a delight. Other times he's been a joy. Other times it's been really easy. But there are other times this guy has so gone out of his way to fuck up his own team's success that you got to grin and bear it. I can't believe that people are like in grin and bear it mode about a quarterback who is really good and a head coach who is damn good at what he does. Again, if your draft is great, we'll see where this year goes. If your draft sucks, we'll see where this year goes. But because of the two-man game that is Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy together, the Niners are going to be able to favor to win the West, even though they sucked last year. Why is that? Must mean something. Must mean something. Sip of the day, by the way. That was a good one right there. No, a little out of hair gel today. I got to get a little more hair gel. I got a little natural going on up here. Shout out to Logan Couture. Shout out Logan Couture. Yeah, I was hanging up the skates. Hanging up them skates. Kenny's saying, hey, the division itself sucks. That's why. But it's where you live, though. Location, location, location. The Niners don't need to be any better than their own division to win their division. So that's great. That's great. You'll take all the shit division that you can. If it's that easy to get through it, you show up to the playoffs healthy, do that. But come on. Come on. The worst division in football, no matter what it is, still very hard to win. The worst team in football, no matter who they are, still hard to beat. None of this is easy. And the fact that some of you think that it really is easy means there's an awful lot of you who don't even know what you're looking at. 9 days from the NFL draft, and it cannot get here fast enough. Tip-off for the Golden State Warriors tonight really can't get here fast enough, right? It is a, win the damn game moment. I mean, a must-win technically means you lose, your season is over. The Warriors could technically lose this game and still be playing basketball, but don't F around and find out. You don't want a game on Friday if you're the Golden State Warriors. You just do not want that. You do not want to burn gas. You lose tonight, you're in a lot of trouble. I mean, the fact that you're in this game tonight means you're in a lot of trouble. I've had some people try to spin it like, nah, man, this is good for the Warriors. It's much better to be the 7 seed. It's a blessing in disguise if they are the 7 seed. You didn't want the Lakers in the first round. I actually would have wanted the Lakers in the first round, and I think that the Golden State Warriors would have been happy to see the Lakers in the first round because there's no Anthony Davis Lakers, and that's a different Laker team for them. Not to mention the NBA would have loved to have sold us Warriors Lakers in the first round. If they lose tonight, they're in a ton of trouble. The failure and the collapse of this season would be its only real defining feature. I mean, they got off to a good start this year. Then you got your Melton injury. Then the Warriors got lost in the woods for about 2.5 months. Then they find their way out of their woods after they made the trade for Jimmy Butler. They started playing really good basketball as soon as that trade was consummated. And right at the end of the year, they're collapsing. They're falling apart. Jonathan Kuminga's getting coach DNPs in the biggest game of the year because, this doesn't really fit and blah, 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 blah. Make it fit. Figure it out. Losses to the Spurs, the Clippers, and then the Grizzlies at home to screw up the entire year. I mean, if that were to happen, and then God forbid they're in a game on Friday with the Kings or the Mavericks, where you're literally trying to figure out who would be more embarrassing to lose to. What would be the more embarrassing team to lose to Friday if the Warriors were to lose tonight? Seriously. Kings or Mavericks, which would be worse? It's kind of hard to tell, right? It's hard to tell which would be worse. I mean, you'd hear more shit from Kings fans, that's for sure. Warriors got to win. No messing around, and here's what we got. No matter what happens, Cyrus and I will be on the air 11 a.m. West Coast time on Wednesday for a little Warriors Weekly. And then Wednesday night, April 16th, I hope you're thinking about joining me at 9 p.m. Going to be going live on YouTube with chances for you to call in like never before. I'm actually going to be working with a producer, thanks to a sponsorship from BetterHelp and a partnership with Show Us. ShowUs.tv is where you can go now to sign up to be in line to call into this show, video, audio, however you call in, I don't know, but it is going to be an actual produced, real, live call-in show. It's going to be like Sports Phone, baby. You need a mic, you need a webcam, required to participate. We got 100 spots. There's no way I'm going to get 100 callers, but we're being bold. We're going to say there's 100 spots. Come on in. Have a great time. That's what we're going to be doing on Wednesday night, 9 o'clock West Coast time. No matter where you are, check it out on YouTube and go to showus.tv to reserve a spot to call into that show tomorrow night. where we'll either be talking about what the Warriors need to do as they get ready for the playoffs, or we will be asking what the hell happened and how do they have a game on Friday? Are you serious? So, quite a fork in the road moment for the Golden State Warriors coming up. And I'm just telling you right now, if they get to the end of this season and home losses to the Spurs, Grizzlies, Clippers, and whatever happens, I'm telling you, you traded for Jimmy Butler specifically to have that kind of dog on your team to prevent this sort of late season collapse. And if they do it, somebody needs to be fired. And it might need to be Steve Kerr. Because who else is going? You're not going to fire Steph. You're not going to fire Draymond. You're not going to fire Jimmy Butler. You're not going to fire Mike Dunleavy Jr. Obviously, the Lakers ain't going anywhere. All the other pieces around this team, whether you got rid of them or kept them or what, it wouldn't even affect anything. What is going on? You know, you have officially lost whatever magic you had left to sprinkle on this team if this team were to fail at making the playoffs at this particular time. It just, and I love Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr deserves all the respect in the world. But these have not been smooth years. And the development on this team is officially something to scratch your head about. And the player and minute distribution, which was supposed to get easier to see our way through, has become way too muddled at the end of the year. Again, Jonathan Kuminga is in the game plan in some sort of way, but for injury the entire year, and then done. Coach DNP in the biggest matchup of the year. That is not how you foster goodwill. That is not how you develop a young player who's trying to gain confidence going into the postseason. It is weird, man. The Kuminga thing is weird, and I can only tell you that the only way it would really, truly, honestly make sense to me is if a little birdie on the wall told me, you know what, what's really going on here? Steph Curry hates this fucking guy and every minute he has to share with him on the court. Because if that's what it is, then Jonathan Kuminga should be locked out of the gym and never allowed back in. Whatever Steph needs, whatever Steph wants, Steph gets. If Steph Curry said, enough Kuminga, then by all means, coach DNP the shit out of him. I don't know if I really trust Steve Kerr's enough Kuminga. Is it a perfect fit? No. But the Warriors are no longer in the business of having perfect nothing. Perfect is a ship that has already left the dock. You will never catch it. The Warriors will never be perfect again. The Warriors will never be state of the art again. Everything you're looking at is an attempt to hold on to what you have left. You know, are we looking at the future and Kuminga, Pajemski, and Moody and the young guy? I don't know, and you don't know, and it doesn't really look like it, to be honest with you, because if Curry and Draymond and the old guys were off this team tomorrow, they would be capital F fucked. So there is no army coming behind the old guards, which mean the old guard dictate how this all goes. And if Jonathan Kuminga really is bad for ball movement, and ball movement is where the entire offense is predicated, then I guarantee you Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler are saying, don't play him. Because the ball does stop with Kuminga a little bit. But he also does produce. So to leave him just totally out of the if he gets a coach DNP against Memphis Grizzlies, he should just stop showing up for work. Seriously. One last invitation to join me tomorrow night on April 16th at 9 p.m. West Coast time. We'll be going live on YouTube, on X, and all the places we usually go for our first ever official call-in show. Go to showus.tv to reserve a place to call in. Looking forward to hopefully you checking out something new, something different that we're going to be doing tomorrow night. Another thing happened today in the NBA. Nico Harrison held his first press conference since the Luka trade. And if you want to know how that's going for Nico, let me just tell you that all you need to know about how he really feels about that Luka trade can be summed up in the following sentence. No TV, no microphones. In order to attend the Nico Harrison is finally talking about Luka trade, you had to show up without a camera, without anything to record him. Pad to paper only. That is the physical human being equivalent of the A's turning off their responses on Twitter, which is one of the most cowardly chicken shit moves in the history of sports media, which the fact that the A's had to turn their responses off on Twitter is all you need to know about those fucking losers. And the only thing you need to know about Nico Harrison and how convinced he is that he did the right thing, even though he says no regrets, zero regrets. If you had no regrets, we'd be recording this, you fucking pussy. Nico Harrison, for the remainder of his life, should be made so uncomfortable living in Dallas that he has to quit and leave. Now, I'm not saying physically threatened in any way, but he should have rotten cabbage thrown at him every single step between the Dallas Mavericks front door and his car. There should be somebody throwing rotten cabbage at Nico Harrison in public for the remainder of his days in the city of Dallas. He should be run the fuck out of town. It is an indefensible trade. So much so. Here's something that this isn't going to sit well with any of you, because I don't think the Warriors are going to win an NBA championship. I'm the one guy who's been saying, even as good as they've been and as fun as the ride has been and as around the corner they've turned a little, I know what teams of circumstance look like. I don't think I've looked at the Warriors once this year and seen NBA champion. And honestly, I don't even really see that in the Lakers. But Harrison, this is from ESPN. Harrison, along with new Mavericks CEO Rick Welts. By the way, how's Rick Welts involved in all this? Poor Rick. Hopefully he's getting paid really well. They held an hour-long session Tuesday morning with a select group of Dallas-based media. Again, they got to hand select. By the way, you are a shit Dallas Mavericks beat writer if you were hand selected to this thing. Like, it's like Trump banning the AP. That's a big dictator move. We can't have an independent journalist, anything in here. We need people who are literally only here to lick the balls. So if you were in this, if you were hand selected by the Dallas Mavericks to come and do this, know that you have been identified right there as covering this team with kid gloves. So if you were in that scrum today, you heard him defend trading a 26-year-old player who led a franchise to the NBA Finals last year to bring in a 32-year-old, often injured player who could only win it all when he was in a bubble. One of the reasons why Anthony Davis and that Laker team won the bubble is because Anthony Davis was comfortable in the bubble because he didn't have people in there booing him, watching him, looking at him. Like Anthony Davis, I think, buckles under pressure of big moments with crowds leaning in and booing against him. He didn't have that in the bubble. I think that was part and parcel of why the Lakers came out of that thing a champion. There's a part of me that wants the Lakers to come out of this year a champion. Only so the guy who says that I can't win it with Luka, but I need the defense that Anthony Davis gives me. I almost want the Lakers to win the NBA title only so everyone can turn around to Nico and say, it is time for you to sew your lips shut and never say another word about basketball, because you had a guy that brought you to the NBA Finals, you moved on from him, and how great would it be if Luka and the Lakers then won the NBA Finals just to turn around to Nico and be like, anything else? Do you have anything else to add to this moment in time, you dipshit? I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We are looking at a truly modern Babe Ruth moment. You traded who? Huh? Dallas Mavericks are pandering, giving people jobs for all the wrong reasons. I don't know about who's getting jobs for right or wrong reasons. I don't know about any of that, but I know that the one guy who needed to be a Dallas Maverick above all of them isn't anymore. You know, there was nobody in that organization. Not the rims, not the court. There was nobody in that organization more important to it than Luka Doncic, and they walked away in the name of, we think we have a better idea. That's unbelievable to me. And again, though, how bad would it be for the Warriors to lose to the Memphis Grizzlies and then somehow lose to the Dallas Mavericks? Oh, my God. If the Warriors were to lose to the Dallas Mavericks, and that's the reason why they don't go to the postseason, because they lost at home to the Dallas Mavericks on Friday night, I want heads. I want heads on pikes. Seriously, it's inexcusable. Inexcusable for the Warriors to be now in this situation. And if they blow it from this situation, consequences have to be attached to it. Unbelievable. Joe, as a Laker fan, I'm loving this. I bet you are. I bet you are. One other thing to say about basketball, because, man, life is timing, and the timing of the Valkyries sucks. There's no other way to say it. So the Golden State Valkyries did not have the first pick of the 2025 NBA draft. Why? Why? They're the expansion team. How are they in the lottery? How is a team that didn't exist in a lottery with teams that did exist? I don't get it. Like, I literally had to Google, why didn't the Valkyries have, and the answer that Google provided to me, the Golden State Valkyries did not have the first pick in the 2025 WNBA draft because the Dallas Wings had the top pick after the lottery. The Valkyries, as an expansion team, typically would have had the first overall pick, but the lottery determined the draft order and the Wings won it. Why? Why did a team that was playing last year get the number one pick over an expansion team? Just had they decided to start operating as a franchise a year before, they might have had Caitlin Clark. They could have had Paige Buckers, whatever her name is, Beckers. They get neither. The number one pick, the fifth overall pick, is Juste Jaquet, a forward from Lithuania. She's a 19-year-old who averaged 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in 21 games. You've never heard of her. We don't even know how to pronounce her name. She's from Lithuania. There is the reason why the WNBA went from nothing, just nothing, to something is because we were able to identify who Caitlin Clark was. And for the first time, there was an actual star to sell. The Valkyries are made up of not identifiable. You might have heard of them because women's college basketball is growing. They are Team International. You've never heard of a single Golden State Valkyrie. I mean, the vast majority of all WNBA players are players you never heard of. But these are really, you've never heard of them, players. Now, they've already sold a whole bunch of season tickets, and good for them, and I hope they're successful, and I hope they're good. But why? Why is it that the Valkyries didn't have the number one pick in the WNBA draft? That's absurd. Who's running that league? Who's running the WNBA? Besides a bunch of women who don't know how to run a sports league. I mean, the minute the world started paying attention to him, you saw the entire league basically buckle under the pressure of attention. You're not going to set up Joe Lacob to do as much business as possible? You're not going to give him a star to start a new franchise with here in the Bay Area? That's bad for business. Chef A, it's cool she's from Lithuania, I guess. Yeah, I guess. I guess. I don't know. Sure, she's from Lithuania. Whatever that means. Do you watch a lot of 18-year-old girls play basketball in Lithuania? If you are, you're thrilled about this pick. The vast majority of planet Earth has never heard of her. Again, her name is what? Juicy Smoulier? What is it? Juicy Jaquette? Jacquette? I don't even know. I don't even know. How is the expansion team not getting the number 1 pick in the draft? Sounds like a stupid way to do business. Giants won again. Freaking San Francisco Giants, man, hit 3 home runs in Philadelphia yesterday. They put up 10 runs. They're now 12-4 on the season. This is kind of an amazing start. It really is. It's too bad I know that talking baseball on here just dooms the live stream to death. But look, here's what's kind of amazing. The Dodgers, who are a super team for the modern ages, they're in 3rd place right now because the Padres can't drop a game at home. The Padres are 11-0 in San Diego. They're in 1st place. The San Francisco Giants, off to an amazing start, are in 2nd place. And the Dodgers are in 3rd place. I mean, I really think that there were bets in Las Vegas like, do you think the Dodgers will spend a single day out of 1st place in the National League West this year? They're in 3rd place because the Giants are playing hair on fire baseball. And again, the Padres can't be beat at home. You got to love baseball for that alone. Seriously, let me tell you. It's kind of amazing. So much so that I think that when I get to Japan next week, I'm just going to start talking shit to anybody I see wearing a Shohei Ohtani jersey. Be like, I'm going to walk up to him, be like, "What's up, 3rd place? How you doing?" Now, the Dodgers, I'm sure they're going to find their own level here. I wouldn't not bet on the Dodgers to win the World Series. But man, baseball's funny. Baseball is funny, and the Giants are 12-4. Okay. All right. At some point, you got to stop complaining about what you think the team is and acknowledge what they're actually doing. It's good. It's good. Damon used to play it on the radio, the regular. You talking about the Welcome to Lithuania song? Welcome to Lithuania. I don't even know. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Regular Ryan. Need that Welcome to Lithuania song when the Ball brothers showed up there. Yeah. Welcome to Lithuania. Oh, look at Barry Ford, by the way. Now, here's the thing. Barry is from Memphis, so he gets to say, "Go Memphis Grizzlies." Barry is allowed that. The rest of you, not so much. Barry, you're allowed to root for the Memphis Grizzlies. You're from Memphis, for goodness sakes. You're allowed to like Elvis Presley. You're from Memphis, for goodness sakes. Finally, a sign that nature is healing. A sign that the city of San Francisco is officially coming back with a vengeance, after, look, the pandemic did downtown wrong, man. It really did. San Francisco was suffering for a very, very long time. But on April 3rd, our turn happened. On April 3rd, the Gold Club fried chicken buffet returned. San Francisco is healing. Before I got to San Francisco, I was in Indiana. I spent time in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fort Wayne, Indiana is known as the Crossroads of America. One of the reasons why Fort Wayne, Indiana is known as the Crossroads of America is because major highways, many major highways come right through Fort Wayne, Indiana. And because of that, Fort Wayne, Indiana, a part of it anyways, is a major truck stop. And when you have a major truck stop, you need gasoline, you need showers, you need a rest area, and you need strip clubs. There was a point in time where I think that it wasn't Tampa, it wasn't Miami. Fort Wayne, Indiana, I think had the largest strip club per capita ratio in America because so many truckers would come through town. Because of that, the lunch buffet at strip clubs was so normalized in Fort Wayne, Indiana, that it was not odd to go to lunch at a strip club. It just wasn't. And I thought, well, that's some Indiana Midwestern shit. When I came out to California, finally, I work right around the corner from the Gold Club. That's where KNBR studios were before they moved, before I moved over to 95.7 The Game. They were right there on Hawthorne Lane, right across from the Gold Club, which is a strip joint on Harrison, which is there because that is by the Moscone Center. So a lot of big businessmen come from out of town. They go to a strip club, nothing to do in San Francisco. And I couldn't believe like how many people used to get in line to go to the strip club at about 12:30 in the afternoon. It's a little early in the day on a Tuesday to be all like horny for strippers. What's going on here? It was because the Gold Club had the chicken buffet, the fried chicken buffet. We went. It was good. It was good. I mean, would the fried chicken be that good without the strippers? I don't know. Are the strippers made better because of the fried chicken? I don't really think so, but the strippers are happy that the chicken is back because people come for the chicken, stay for the stripping. On April 3rd, the strip club, the Gold Club, brought back its highly awaited all-you-can-eat lunch to crowds lining up down the block. The decision to bring back the special came after receiving so many pleas from the venue's loyal customers that Axel Sang, who I know that guy, who is the strip club's marketing director, brought it back. Their customer base has shifted from high-spending, convention-driven clientele to more locals. Sales are also below pre-pandemic levels, although they remain optimistic that they're going to get the back to the office push and they're going to have more foot traffic downtown. And as people come back to downtown, they will come back to the Gold Club for their fried chicken buffet. Nature's healing. Nature's healing. How's that? How's the economy doing? Let's look at that stripper economy to see how it's doing. There's correlation. There's correlation there. So good luck, ladies. Good luck, fans of fried chicken. Gold Club's coming back, baby. And on that note, it's officially time for Today in History. Kind of an interesting day in history here. Are you ready to hop in first? I don't know if we look like each other now as much as we used to, but I used to get told all the time that my doppelganger was Seth Rogen. Happy birthday, Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen is 43 years old. I don't think I look that much like Seth Rogen. I think if I lose the glasses, there's almost no Seth Rogen going on. But some people have insisted, and I don't mind it. By the way, Chef A, I'd go. Strippers are cool. At least the ones I know. See, that's it. Lesbians love strippers, and strippers like lesbians. So I think you'd be very, very welcome in there, Chef A. Very welcome. Here's the thing. Let's be honest. It comes down to much more than the thighs on the chicken when you're in a strip club. Like, would you watch ugly women stripping if the chicken was good? Probably not. Let's be honest. Okay. Hey, Chef A. Good to see it. Good. Happy birthday, Seth Damon. Damon Seth, thank you very much. By the way, Barry coming in here. Platinum Plus here in Memphis had an amazing buffet. Not that I would know anything about that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Barry Ford, all I can tell you about the Platinum Plus is when I was in college, we went to Memphis. I spent time at the Platinum Plus. I walked in there with about $30 and a bottle of whiskey and had more fun that night in a strip club that I won't admit to having gone to. I went. We had a great time at the Platinum Plus. Great time. I'm glad it's still open. Again, believe it or not, I'm not even a big strip club guy. I'm not. I don't like being a sucker. Not a big strip club guy. 10 minutes, we're good. What's up, CG? CG Ruthless. Good to see you. Good to see so many regulars in here. So many good people in here. Alexander Boy, Wings on Wings. There you go. Oh, boy. Happy birthday, Seth Rogen, as we get into Today in History. Today in 1817, you want to talk about the history of the town that I grew up in? Directly attached to this fact, the Erie Canal was authorized to link Buffalo to Lake Erie and the Hudson River at Albany, New York. And the Erie Canal is one of the first big shipping lanes in the United States. It all went up the Erie Canal. And that's why Schenectady, New York was a big place in the country for a while, because the Erie Canal came right through Schenectady coming out of Albany. And there's this. Today in 1892, the Edison General Electric Company was formed. You know them as GE, and GE's biggest plant was in Schenectady, New York, which was no coincidence because that's where the Erie Canal was. Schenectady, New York, the town I grew up in, used to be known as the city that runs and lights the world. Schenectady, New York used to be on the top 10 Russian nuclear target strikes in America because that GE factory that remains in Schenectady is where they build their nuclear turbines. So I remember as a little kid being very proud that we were way up on the nuclear strike list. I'm like, ooh, I do live in an important town because of the death of the Erie Canal and because of the death of General Electric and because that basically got shut down. Schenectady kind of died as a town, and now it's just a team. Schenectady is now just a town where your dreams go to die. It's no longer the city that runs and lights the world. But for a minute there, it was special. Today in 1912, the Titanic officially sank in the North Atlantic. You're going to want to look out for that iceberg. I've seen this movie. I know how it ends. It ain't good. Watch out for that iceberg, kids. Watch out. Today, in 1924, Well, yesterday we had Noah Webster publishing the first American dictionary. Today in 1924, a guy named Rand McNally published the first road atlas. If you are anything younger than being from my generation, I need to tell you, there used to be a thing that you would keep in your car called a map. And when you needed to know how to get somewhere, you had to take out this atlas or this map to figure out which direction to drive in. And you needed to see where you're going, and you need to follow grid 4 down to grid E. And it took like some actual navigation acumen to plot a course to know where you're going. You just didn't just type your email or the address you're going to into some GPS and boom, you're there. I really believe that had GPS not invented, most of America would be lost out on the roadways right now. I really believe that. I really believe that most of America right now is thoroughly unqualified to even recognize what a map is, much less know how to use it. Imagine if you turned around to a 14-year-old kid today in America, handed him an atlas and said, get from point A to point B. Good luck. I don't think it could happen. I don't think it would happen. There you go. Happy birthday, first ever atlas. Today in 1947, Jackie Robinson became the first African-American player in Major League Baseball. Now, that is not true, but let's not let facts get in the way of a good story. Ebbets Field, Brooklyn Dodgers, Jackie Robinson. Is everybody going to wear his number today? Is it Jackie Robinson Day around Major League Baseball? Or has Donald Trump shut that down? All I can tell you, there could be nothing more disgraceful than trying to scrub Jackie Robinson from the conversation. What's more un-American than trying to remove Jackie Robinson from history? Good God. Today in 1955, McDonald's opened its first franchise restaurant by Ray Kroc in Des Plaines, Illinois. And all I can tell you is if you've never seen the movie The Founder, you should. It's starring Michael Keaton. It's a great movie about Ray Kroc basically ripping off the idea for McDonald's from the McDonald's guys. and turning it into an empire, which is slowly killing America. But, it's a fascinating movie. It really is. It's a great movie. I don't eat at McDonald's anymore. That is officially not good for you. Like, they're trying to poison you for sure. Don't eat there ever. But sometimes you got to go to McDonald's because that's just the way it goes. Yeah. Trump rules, you drool. Yeah, he's doing a bang up job. No notes at all. Keep it coming. We're not doing that. We're not going down the road. We're not going down that road. Today in 1983, Tokyo Disneyland opened to the public. When I said, Jillian, we're going to Tokyo, you want to go to... No, we're not going to Disneyland. We're not going to Tokyo Disneyland. We're not bringing the kids. We're not going to Tokyo Disneyland. But Disneyland, like in California, I think Disneyland in California is the cleanest part in California. How clean must Tokyo Disneyland be if the largest, busiest city in the world has a clean reputation? How clean is Tokyo Disney? I would like to just go see that. But we're not going to Tokyo Disneyland. Today in 2013, the Boston Marathon bombing happened. That was awful. That was terrible. 3 people died. 260 people got hurt that day. Bombing the end of the Boston Marathon. I mean, God almighty. What kind of country are we living in? Today in 2019, oh no, the flame, Notre Dame, almost burnt down today in 2019. Notre Dame in Paris caught fire during a restoration campaign. The blaze destroyed most of the cathedral's roof, the 19th century spire, some of the vaulting that holds the whole damn thing up. Luckily, it didn't collapse on itself, but today is the day that Notre Dame nearly burnt down. I tell you, I mean, I'm not particularly a religious person, but I have spent an awful lot of time in my life in the dogma of the Catholic Church. I was an altar boy. I grew up going to St. John's, which in Schenectady, New York, is actually quite a cathedral. It's beautiful, a gorgeous cathedral. And you think you got a real nice cathedral until you see that cathedral and you're like, holy shit. Like, the whole thing is a testament to art. It's not only religion, obviously, but like, as that place was burning down, I thought, oh no, all the treasures in there, all the history in there. It's amazing that they were able to stop it and recover it as much as they did. And I think it's open again. Like, they fixed it. I remember that place burning. I mean, can you imagine being the French riveter who dropped whatever it was? How did that fire start? Was it a hot rivet falling into a bucket of wood or something? I mean, I don't know. Not a bucket of wood. You can tell I haven't spent much time around a major construction project. But, I mean, like, look, how do you do that? Nice job, Claude. Is that like a typical French name? Good job, Pierre. Oh, mon Dieu, I dropped the hot coal into the bucket. Oh, my God. What'd you do? I burnt down Notre Dame. Oh, my God. You want to talk about how was your day? How was your day? Well, I burnt down the most famous church in the world. How was yours? And there you go. Barry. Damon, how the hell did you get from Schenectady to San Francisco? You go west. You go west. No, ma baguette, sacre bleu. Absolutely. Barry Ford. Jean-Luc. No. Thank you, everyone. Hey, again, I'll be back at it with Cyrus for a Warrior Wednesday, and boy, we're going to have something to talk about. Either they're in or they blew it against the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. Big basketball does not get much bigger than win, you're in, lose, And oh my God, what the fuck have you guys done with your season? That's what's waiting for the Warriors. Can you imagine they're the 8th seed? Here's the thing. It's funny. If they are the 8th seed and they got to open up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, for some weird reason, I think the Warriors got a chance to deal with the Thunder in the postseason. But I also thought that, it was experience that would get them over the hump that was the San Antonio Spurs, and that didn't happen. So Warriors lose tonight, all bets are off. All bets for anything special coming out of this year are off if they lose tonight. God forbid that were to happen. So we'll be talking about it tomorrow morning, and then 9 p.m. Wednesday night, the 16th, we're going to be going live with the call-in show. And boy, I hope that you regulars come on in. I hope that a whole bunch of new people come on in. We're going to be doing a little late night Warrior talk, taking calls. Sign up for your place in line to call over at showus.tv. Again, one more time. Let me show you the graphic one more time so you know where it is, where we're going. 100 spots, reserve yours. Do it right now at showus.tv, and hopefully you plan on joining us for an interactive live stream, little postseason preview. Or look at it this way. It's either going to be a postseason preview or what the fuck is going to be the theme of the show. It should be good either way. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. It was wonderful having you here today. Please hit like and subscribe if you already have not. That would be very, very helpful. Thank you to everyone who offered up a super chat. Thank you to everyone for being here in the live stream. Thank you so very, very much. By the way, East Coast Red and Gold podcast, which I have been on as a guest in the past. It is run by Niner Jess, who's a great voice among 49er fans, and it was just her birthday. I wished her a happy birthday the other day. Happy birthday to Niner Jess of East Coast Red and Gold podcast. I hope the rest of you have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, it's been the record eyeballs on the channel over the past 28 days. And I thank you all again from the bottom of my heart, which why it just hurts to say, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And like that, sports don't build character, they reveal it. He's gone.